Hi, this is Beanie here. We know that Hang Seng Index broke 25,000, which is at this moment on week close is trading higher than the 1-year high. In fact, if you take a look at my chart here, it's trading above 2-year high. So this is something that's positive. But as I was browsing through the Chinese index are showing positive momentum, especially they are showing reversal sign. Now, of particular interest is the ChiNext Index. Now, why am I looking at the ChiNext Index? Just as a background to ChiNext, it is China's innovation board for SME, especially for high-tech companies. So this is the index that is equivalent to Nasdaq. Let's have a look at the 1-year growth of ChiNext. It's about 28%. And in terms of the sector, of course, industrial, as I mentioned, we have CATL, which has the highest weightage. Then we have financials as well as healthcare. So financials will be East Money. And then healthcare, we do have various biotech companies. Right? If you take a look at the price versus book ratio to other benchmark, it's much higher at 3.86. So this shows that it has a higher growth expectation than, for example, Hang Seng Tech or STI. Now, I think that a lot of investors or traders, if they are looking and investing into Chinese index, then they may be wondering how to get about doing it. Do they need to buy directly in the Chinese market? For SGX, it has recently launched this AMOVA. I think many are not familiar with AMOVA, but it used to be known as Nikko Asset Management. So it is renamed to AMOVA Asset Management. So it launched this ChiNext ETF. So it has 3 hedge currency. One is SGD hedge. The stock code is CXT. The other one is RMB. So stock code is CXN, and the USD counter stock code is CXO. So the launch price, it's at $1. So for example, I'm talking about the CXT, which is the SGD hedge. It was launched and issued as $1, and right now it's trading about $1.05. This fund here, it's based on the underlying fund, which is the ChiNext ETF that's listed in the Shenzhen exchange. Of course, that if you are looking at it, then the investment mode is cash and SRS. So instead of buying directly into the Chinese market, then you can access ChiNext via the ETF in Singapore market. But again, do understand this product and do understand the risk of investing or trading into ETF. Now, next, I want to have a look into the technicals, the price action of ChiNext to explain why I think that it's showing signs from the technical point of view of a reversal. Now, let's take a look into ChiNext. Now, this ChiNext, I just want to talk from the weekly point of view, because as I said, right, it could be showing sign of a reversal. So first, objectively, this was the high, this is the low here, and from 2022 onwards until the start of 2025, it's making a lower high. So these are the lower high and lower low. Essentially, the whole part here was in a downtrend. But starting last year, 2024, we've seen that with this huge surge, price made a higher high. And of course, towards the mid of 2025, which is this year, this was that higher low. As you look at the patterns from the technical level, this is suggesting that there could be a sign of a reversal, partly because of that higher high being made. So let me just zoom in here to inspect a little bit more in the current pattern here. Now, a few things to take note is that if I were to draw in a Fibonacci retracement, then somewhere around this retracement point is the 62%. So this means that it's a very healthy retracement. At the same time, it retraced to a previous high. Whatever bullishness that we've seen during that 2024 movement remains. We can deduce that from this whole correction, it was quite a calculated attempt to probably move and shift the weaker players into a stronger players, where the stronger players slowly make their accumulation at each of the low here. Now, one thing to mention if I were to just draw in certain levels, and here, for example, this equidistance channel here, then somewhere around last week or so, there was a close above the channel. In other words, from the technical point of view, there was a close above the equidistance channel at the same time above this previous high here, hence completing that reversal pattern we've seen here. And I expect probably that from the technical point of view, then this uptrend here, a little bit of this uptrend might be the predominant movement of Chinext. And probably we might see a resistance into this level here. Now, why is it that I like such a price movement? I usually do not like to catch the bottom, which I think that it could be a falling knife. What I like to see is I like to see some form of a bullishness, and then if price moves lower and it gets supported, this means that there are substantial buyers coming in at the support level to support this, hence supporting the ground that there could be a reversal in this downward pattern here. So usually for me, I don't like to catch the bottom, because catching the bottom could be like catching a falling knife. I want to know that the reversal pattern has sort of completed, price has sort of rebounded from the low point. So if you have a look at the entire chart, let me just show you the entire chart. Yes, if I were to equate this point here of Chinext as a high around here, and then somewhere around here as the low point, and as usual, what I like to teach my student is that if we recognize this low point as 1 and the high point as around 10, then around this price level, we are probably at the lower boundary, okay, at the lower percentile. So in a way, there could be more room for it to go up. I've looked at Chinext from the technical point of view, but my views might not be correct. Do understand about this ETF, do understand about Chinext itself, and whether, you know, the whole Chinese environment, it's something that you are interested or you're convinced about. Always do your own research. All right.